All right, ladies and gentlemen, settle in for Drinks with the Band with your host, Chris Denman. Take it away, Chris.
We got to work on that open.
We really do.
What's up, everybody? It's Chris Denman. It's Drinks with the Band tonight. We've got Hayes Carll, Texas. Very, very, very Texas through and through. Singer, songwriter, musician, all-around good guy. Excited to talk to Hayes. Each week we do this. We've got a great lineup of guests all summer into September scheduled. We want to thank our friends at the Kransberg Arts Foundation, our friends over at the Cortex here in St. Louis, Snappy Bigman Coffee, all of our supporters, and of course, Jack Daniels. We've got a featured drink, and the only person in the world I would make that featured drink with is Eric E.T. Tecosky. What's up, E.T.? Good to see you, man.
How are you? Yeah,
Episode 2. Last week was a blast. Erica Winstrom from Heartless Bastards killed it. We got Hayes Carll tonight, and we've got a tasty drink lined up as well. How's your week been, sir?
So far, so good, man. So far, so good.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Complain.
The highlight of your week starts now, so that's what we're.
It does. I mean, it's shower day. It's put on real clothes day. It's Drinks with the Band day. It's all on Wednesday.
It all comes in. If you're just joining, maybe you're new to the show, maybe you're a Hayes Carll fan, maybe you just heard about it online. My name's Chris Denman. I host a show called We Are Live. This is We Are Live's Drinks with the Band. Jack Daniels makes that happen, and E.T. is the U.S. ambassador for Jack Daniels. Tonight, can we give people a little, I guess, shout out to what we'll be making in a little bit? What do we have on the menu?
Yeah, there's a very simple drink that's, was really popular, kind of faded, and now it's back with a vengeance called a highball. And it literally couldn't be simpler. It's a base spirit and some type of soda. Think about, whiskey, ginger, Jack and Coke, Scotch and soda. Any of these kind of things are a highball. So today we're going to do a little twist on that with our Jack Apple, and super simple, refreshing, summertime drinker. It's going to be great.
Well, I'm excited. Check this out. Shout out to our guy, Julian. I am prepared, sir. I'm ready.
Nice.
That's a good fit, right? That fits right there. It's ready to go.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
So we'll make a cocktail here in a bit. I am curious. Last week, you really set a tone for Drinks with the Band. The prize you gave away, it was a custom Jack Daniels cutting board and muddler.
Yes.
and a hat. So who's getting stock options in Brown Forman today? Like, how do you up your? Do you understand we have 16 of these things?
I know I might have opened big, but I think at least for week 2, I'm not having a sophomore slump. I think we're going to be okay this week.
Okay.
Whoever wins our contest later, first off, will get themselves a Jack Daniels music themed T-shirt with a guitar pick. Hello,
look at that. That's beautiful.
Now, we've brought this up a few times that Frank Sinatra drank Jack Daniels. He liked it so much that when he was laid to rest, he was buried with a bottle of Jack Daniels. And the prize today is something from Frank's collection. Did I lose you, by the way?
No, I'm just in awe.
Oh,
I'm just sitting here. I'm being a good audience.
Gotcha.
Hang on, wait.
All right, very good. So Sinatra loved Jack, and someone in his family was going through all of his stuff and found Frank's flask that he had custom made. And on the outside of the flask is a leather case that has his initials FSA, Francis Albert Sinatra. And on the flask itself is engraved Old Jack that he put on there. And it's got 4 stainless steel little shot glasses to go along with it. And they brought it to us and said, hey, do you have any interest in this? And the people on, that do Jack Daniels Sinatra Select were like, yeah, we have interest. And they had a few of them reproduced. And I have one here tonight.
Get out of here.
So
this is what you're going to give away. So to the people in the comments, I totally understand if you're tuning in for Hayes Carll. Hayes will join us. So the way this works is we talk a little history, we talk a little story, we make a cocktail, and then we settle in for great musical artists like Hayes Carll. And don't forget, next week we've got Womack from Future Birds joining us. Great singer, great dude. But tonight it's Hayes Carll. So if you're joining because of Hayes Carll, pay attention. You can win some cool Jack Daniels stuff. And actually, we're going to give away 2 prizes. We also give away probably a T-shirt from Hayes' merch store. So pay attention. we just announced a killer Jack Daniels prize. How do you want to give us away this week? We did, it was your first concert in the comments last week. We had some good ones too. And Erica Winterstrom from Heartless Bastard elicited those because she had some great fans. What do you want to do tonight?
Look, I say we stick with the music theme. How about whether it was a album, CD, or tape, the first thing that you bought for your own music collection that wasn't borrowed from a brother, sister, parent, like you actually spent your allowance on, whatever that first album was.
This could be interesting too, and you could give us the age you were when you did it. I mean, we could probably do the math. I think I said last week mine was Green Day Dookie. That was the first compact disc that was mine. But I had all kinds of tapes growing up, and I think about this too. I remember the first time I accidentally bought a single tape, like we just had 2 songs, and I was so confused at why it was so cheap. But I was like, "Hey, a deal's a deal, right?" that was.
That's funny. It was one song.
And I'm like 7 or 8, probably using my whatever chore money, and you know what that tape was? Bastardized by Rascal Flatts. 20 years later, Tom Cochrane.
I would have never guessed that.
Wasn't I a weird 7-year-old or 8-year-old, whatever I was? Was that a little bluesy for a child?
No, man.
Life is a highway.
Now, fun fact: Tom Cochrane, he's Canadian, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure. I typically am known as a Tom Cochrane enthusiast and historian, but tonight I'm failing.
Well, I'll know this if you tell me. So, "Life is a Highway." What was his other song? His other really big hit?
I don't know if he had one.
He did.
Producer Matt can probably look it up. If we have Tom Cochrane's greatest hits, how big of an album would that be? Would it have just fit on that 2-song single tape?
It is. I know he had one more. "Life is a Highway," and there's one other one. But anyway, if it's a song, if Tom Cochrane is Canadian and he's the guy I'm thinking of, I have a fun Tom Cochrane story that has nothing to do with me, but a good friend of mine. But if it's not him, this story is really not that good.
Let's just do something blatantly. It's like they wore denim jackets and split a thing of poutine together. We'll just assume he's Canadian. Like let's just do that. Let's throw them under the Canadian bus. Did we see if he has another hit besides "Life is a Highway"?
He has so many hits.
Oh,
hang on a second.
Is he Canadian?
That's what I'm looking for to find out. I was trying to find a Canadian musician, best known for rock band Red Rider. He was also a singer-songwriter. He has won 8 Juno Awards.
I was going to ask. I thought he was a 10-time winner, but he's an 8. Okay.
Very important. Very important. Let's see.
Still got time.
I'm trying to find his list of biggest hits. I was obviously looking for his Wikipedia stuff just to make sure he was from Canada, like you were talking about.
Well, I am curious, too. Like, how many Tom Cochrane tattoos do you have, E.T.? Like, it seems like you're really into Tom Cochrane. I didn't know I was going to strike such a positive nerve this evening.
No, it's so very good friend of mine who was actually working with me the night I met my wife, Dalton Grant, is a singer-songwriter.
Shout out to Dalton.
And Dalton Grant, yes. And he co-wrote a song called "Smile" with Tom Cochrane.
Why is this happening? This is amazing. That's so great.
I believe that this part I'm guesstimating. I think Tom Cochrane's wife is his manager, and she also managed one of Dalton's friends, and he heard the song and it needed a little work and whatever. Somehow Tom got involved and they co-wrote the song "Smile" together.
Shout out to Dalton. I didn't know we were going to dive in.
Dalton
I thought it was going to be all Hayes Carll.
He really deserves no shout outs, but we'll give him one.
He gets one nonetheless. We'll pay that off. We'll have to check out his top 2 hits here in a bit. I'm guessing that hasn't come up yet. So quickly, we are going to have Hayes Carll on. We do
"Lunatic Fringe" is the song I'm thinking of. Is that Tom Cochrane?
Fringe. We're checking. Dial-up internet here in St. Louis, Missouri at Midcoast Media. But we're making that happen.
It is. There is multiple versions of "Lunatic Fringe," and I had to make sure it was his. But yes, he wrote it.
Isn't that fun? You're like, you find out there's a bunch of guys on SoundCloud who covered it. We don't know.
Wait, Snoopy wrote this, I thought.
Exactly. We've got a cocktail to make. We've got Hayes Carll to get to. I just want to remind everybody, this is every single week. We do this on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central Time. So shout out to you all watching on YouTube as well. Leave us a comment. Let us know how things are going. Let us know that E.T. looks younger than me. That's something I lament each show. He comes in, he looks great, and he's ready to party. So we're going to give away some Jack Daniels gear. We do that each week, and then also a Hayes Carll giveaway as well. I'll tell you how you can do that in just a minute. If you get a chance, you can make these drinks along with us at home. At We Are Live Radio is our Instagram. We post the recipe. So this week, the base is Jack Daniels, Tennessee Apple. We'll have a refreshing beverage here in just a bit. So what's your answer to your prize question? What was the first album you had?
Album. So, you know, my wife asked me that the other day, and it's a toss-up. It was either Grease or the Rocky soundtrack.
Gosh, you are
Grease
from
could have been my
Philadelphia.
sister's. And I think they're the same year, so it's you can't really go by. I think they're both 78. So
That's pretty cool, though, right?
that they both came out that year.
That those are your. Trust
Possible.
me. As someone who got a Walkman and a Vanilla Ice tape in second grade, like it could be worse. Like you can have worse things than two iconic soundtracks like that.
No, it was Grease was a double album, so there's a bonus of having two albums in one. And then Rocky, you know, as soon as you hear those horns from the theme song, you know, you can do whatever you want in the world. You can climb Mount Everest in like 18 minutes.
That's,
You know, the guy
that's an
jogged
official
through
thing.
Philadelphia in like 2 minutes in that montage from like South Philly to Fishtown.
It's
So, which are-
beautiful. Was
yeah.
that something like, you know how we all, wherever we grow up,
Right.
if you're from St. Louis, like the Arch, you go once when you're in like first grade, and then it's like, okay, the Arch from there on. No matter where you're at, is Philadelphia like that?
Yeah, like the steps, like you do the Rocky Steps once, if ever, but everyone that comes to visit Philly has to do the Rocky Steps.
Sure.
You know, you have to. And it's cool. I mean, it's an art museum, so you should also go to the art museum, but you know, it's kind of like there's
It's a bridge too far for many people.
I'll just
visiting
go up
Philly.
and down the steps and I'm good.
Right.
You know, I was there. I was at the art museum. I didn't see anything, but I was there.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, everyone does the Rocky Steps. Everyone has a cheesesteak. There's those things that you have to do when you visit certain cities.
What do you tell people when they come visit you in Los Angeles? Los Angeles, basically your second home at this point, right? You've been there for a decent amount of time. Do you have the cool version of when you visit LA? Like, is it go see this music venue or this bar? Is it kind of like you being the U.S.
depends on
ambassador
the
for Jack
person,
Daniels?
yeah.
That's kind of your life.
Yes, it is. And it really depends on the people, you know, and if they're with their kids or not with their kids, it really shapes their trip. But some things, if you've never been to California, especially LA, you know, the difference is LA is so spread out. So like Philly's a walking city, New York's a walking city, Chicago's a walking city. So LA, you're really committing, right? If you want to go to Malibu and you're in Hollywood, that's a commitment. It's at least an hour to get into deep Malibu.
If it's 9 o'clock and you're near USC and you need to go to the Comedy Store, which is 4 miles away, settle in for a 70-minute drive across
Uber
down-
ride, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
absurd.
So that's another thing you could really, it shows you how good of a friend you are, is how you plan their day, right? If you take them down, you know, downtown,
Right.
then Malibu, then Hollywood, they're going to hate you. Try to like give people areas like, hey, if you're into this, let me shape a day here. I did that for a friend recently, him and his family. I said, if you're going to be on the West Side, do these things. If you're going to be downtown, do these things, or else you're a really bad friend.
If you guys are into LA pizza, California Pizza Kitchen. Check it out.
Yes, it's amazing.
It's the best,
But
right?
by the way, when I first moved here, there was like 2 of them, and that was where everybody went. And you know, it's kind of like they're a victim of their own success, right? So you know, because that Thai chicken pizza, I will steal the hell out of that anytime you put one in front of me.
Oh my
Delicious.
gosh. We'll be having Hayes Carll on in just a moment. I wanted to get a few of these albums that we had mentioned. So drop us the first album that was yours. Mine was Green Day, Dookie. We have E.T., was either the Rocky soundtrack or the Grease soundtrack. Matt's got some comments that we'll show real quick, and we'll check these out to see early front runners for that Jack Daniels prize pack. What do we have so far?
Early front runners in the comments section thus far. Mary Claire Randall Prochello, Three Dog Night in 8th grade.
Nice.
Sarah Royer got the Walking in Memphis album.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Charles Reniger was Metallica, Ride the Lightning.
All right, Charles. I'm going to need verification from an older brother or something if that wasn't his. That's a pretty cool album for your first album.
Stacy Womack is in there for Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA, solid first album.
Same thing. Yeah. It's a little too cool if you're like 6 or 7, but I'll buy it.
Well,
okay.
Julie Kessner Blasdale says Jesus Was a Capricorn by Chris Christopherson at age 10.
Dang.
Wow, that might.
That's a wise 10-year-old.
That might take it.
See where ET's at.
A close second for me out of this list so far. Marcia Woods was 12 years old and got Jim Croce's You Don't Mess Around with Jim, which I, as a child, was a big fan of that song.
Very nice.
Dude, yeah, look, they sound suspect, some of those albums. Some of them sound like 15th or 16th album, like after you went through your child phase.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, like there's got to be a few Mickey Mouse Club things in there, or those type of things, which like Sesame Street Live.
Yeah, like my buddy Cook, he said he was coming on this. I don't know if he's listening, but his first album was Purple People Eater. I don't remember what band that was, but he said one of those little like play school like record players, plastic ones, and that he would play that all day long.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a special reward for somebody that's honest with us.
Right.
Well, we've got Hayes Carll coming up. I'm thirsty, and it's summertime. Again, let's do we have that graphic? We can kind of show people how you make this. We'll get our Jack Apple Fizz, the highball, 2 ounces of Jack Apple, 1/3 ounce of fresh lemon juice, soda water, over ice, garnish, lemon wedge, or wheel. So again, you can check this out, make these.
Yeah, and there's no real measuring needed for this one. So when we talk about that lemon juice, I'm just going to take a nice lemon wedge and squeeze it in my glass. And we'll just call that 1/3 of an ounce of lemon juice.
See, that's the Chris Denman method. Like, that's about right.
I learned that last week, so I figured I'm not going to complicate this. He's not going to measure anyway, so what's the point of that?
Got the fresh lemon.
Yeah, and then we'll do a little Jack Daniels.
And shout out to our friend at Barkeep. This is their Barkeep STL Barkeep. They've blessed us with a cocktail glass here, and you can get your.
Look who's fancy now.
Yeah, right. Check me out. All right, so I'm gonna break the rules. I'm gonna go 2 lemon wedges because I think it'll be that much more refreshing. How do you feel about that, ET?
Hey, there you go.
Okay, so I'm living.
All right. Then we'll do a little Jack Apple.
Okay. Check me out. Thank you, Julian. May or may not be more than recommended. I don't know. You guys didn't see it. It's my secret. All right.
Yes, we got our apple. Did you pour your apple?
Got the apple in.
All right. Ice it up.
Check this out. Oh, man, my cubes were great. I got them ready right before the show.
By the way, your glass is a real teachable moment right now.
Please.
As pretty as that glass is, I wouldn't really call that a highball glass. However, it does bring up a very interesting point that this drink and any drink, no matter what glass it's in, is going to taste the same. It's true. It is true.
Let's go ahead and mark that off. That'll be our clip with Chris and ET. That'll be featured on our social media at We Are Live Radio. Check that out across all social media. So, okay. So I've got the ice in. I've got a ready and willing club soda, too.
Yeah, so here we go. We're just going to glug, glug, glug it.
Done and done.
And then, you already put 2 lemons in. You might not want to garnish and add more citrus. You might want to. I'll put a little lemon wheel in here.
Cheers to you. Look at that.
Cheers to you.
ET. Every week right here. Drinks with the band.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah. I'm sitting outside. I'm cranking a Hayes Carll album, and I'm enjoying myself. Great choice on the drink this week, ET.
Yeah, I figured keep it simple, right? There's no point to overcomplicate these things.
I appreciate that. We'll have Hayes on in just a moment. I do want to encourage people, if you want to show them the prize one more time. So we'll
Yeah.
give you till the end of the show. Keep dropping your favorite or your first album into the comments. We want to participate.
So we have the Guitar Pick Old Number 7 T-shirt. We also have our basically modeled exactly after Frank Sinatra's personal flask.
This is gonna. ET personally will send this to you. Look at that. That's a
Yes.
great prize.
Now, one thing that you're not advertising, these are the two key items we're shouting out. There will be other things in that box. So there'll be some fun other surprises, some other cool swag in there.
That's very kind of you, and it's very kind of you to join me every week. ET, we've got Hayes lined up, so we're going to keep a close eye on those comments. ET, I'm going to need your expert advice on who the best first album dropping in the comments was. Until next week, sir. Cheers, man. Great drink choice.
Cheers.
I'm excited to talk to
you.
Hayes. Great to see you.
All right.
ET Tecosky. He's the U.S. ambassador for Jack Daniels. Right now, joined by our close, dear, personal friend, Hayes Carll. What's up, Hayes? How are you, man?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I just settled in. I have a cool cocktail. I'm ready to hear some tunes. People have been complaining that they've been having to look at my face since this started, so I know people are excited to talk to you. I do want to chat just a bit before we jump into some songs, man. Are you down in Texas right now? Where are you at?
I'm in Tennessee. I moved up
Tennessee.
here, about a year ago, and went from Austin to New York for a minute, and now Nashville, Tennessee.
What are you seeing in 2020? Obviously, the last few months removed from the differences in a scene that's now at a point where it's just super storied in Austin. You spend some time in New York, and then now Nashville. Obviously, it has a bunch of history, but in the last, 20 years, Nashville has, I think exploded is even a soft way to put what's happened with Nashville. Like, where are you at on, I guess, the different scenes in those cities that you've lived in?
Well, I think Austin and Nashville are really similar. I was having this conversation with my Uber driver today. I rode an Uber for the first time in 4 months. I had to dust off the app.
Well, I was going to say, did the app ask you how you've been? Like, it missed you? Like,
Yeah. We missed your money.
Yeah.
Austin they're very similar in that they're both, the heart of the city is music, both college towns, although University of Texas is a much bigger school than Vanderbilt. But great restaurant scene, just a really great artist scene. And same sort of deal in that the East Side was sort of taken over by the artists and folks. It was more affordable, and then it exploded and pushed everybody out. And so a very similar trajectory there for the two places. But at the heart of it, it's about the music. For me, and I think for most people that come, even if they're not in the music business, it's the pulse of those two cities. There's other things going on clearly, but I don't know. I would put them 1 and 2 for the best live music cities in the world.
There's companies that make big time money off of proving what the arts do for a metro area too. So you're right on par with that. Like, that does make a real difference in actual cities and the growth of the areas, and if people can come in and take advantage of those things. I'm curious too, Nashville specifically, is that a place where you would recommend a new artist go? Like, do you need to be a certain point in your career before you head to Nashville in 2020?
That's a good question. I think it just depends on the artist. I mean, for myself, I remember I moved to Austin in 2000 and was thinking, I'd never lived places with live music or with musicians, really. I grew up in a suburb north of Houston, and then I went to college in a dry county in the middle of Arkansas.
Where was that?
In Conway, Arkansas, at Hendrix College.
I dated someone that was banished to Conway, Arkansas for their job, and that's really funny that you brought that up, because I felt for her. She went from a big city to there, but so that's where you went to college.
I went to college there, and I knew I wanted to be a singer-songwriter, but we'd just play in our living rooms, and it was hard to get discovered in your living room in Conway, Arkansas. And so when I got out of school, I moved down to this little beach town, Crystal Beach, Texas, just across the bay from Galveston Island. And that's where I started working in these bars and stuff, just doing cover songs. And it was great for me. It was like I was the only guy who could play guitar and sing at the same time. So like I had a monopoly on all the gigs.
That's a great place to be.
Yeah, and but at a certain point, I wanted more. I wanted to be around musicians. I wanted to be around songwriters. I wanted to be around people who, part of the life was the creative part, but part of it was I wanted to live the life. I wanted to be on the road. I wanted to be around the energy of people creating and doing. And there wasn't a whole lot of that in the beach towns I was living in. So I moved to Austin and slept on my buddy's couch for a while and just had a terrible time of it. I was selling vacuum cleaners door to door and waiting tables at Red Lobster and didn't have a place to, like I said, I was on my buddy's couch and I felt like it was a mistake going there. It wasn't a mistake, but it was too big for me. I wasn't ready. And then I went back to the beach, ended up developing more of a career in sort of lower key places, and then came back to Austin, and it was great. It was a great place for me. But then having said that, I've got friends who came to Austin with nothing going on, and they immediately were like fish to water. Found the gigs, found the bars, hang out. I was just at the club with my high school buddies, just like an idiot, and I couldn't get anything going on.
Right.
So I think it just depends on your personality and where you're at and, how hungry you are. I was hungry, but I just didn't know where to go. I didn't know that you go to this bar and this is where the actual songwriters are hanging out. And so having said that, I think Nashville is even better than Austin in a way for a young musician, singer-songwriter, because it's easier to know where to go. It's an even bigger part of the culture and the business of it, and you have all these creative communities that you can track down. There's the open mic nights everywhere, and there's the labels and the publishing houses and all the things. So I think it would be an amazing place for a young singer-songwriter to start out.
Is there a point where Nashville's too big? Where there's too much going on, where it loses its allure?
I don't know. I don't know the size of the city. I don't think that's an issue. It's when the people moving in decide that other things are more important than the music or the venues or the iconic places or the traditional events and the lifestyle. When that starts to change, then it becomes too big. But you can have a ton of people and that still be the heartbeat of it. And then it's not too big. I mean, I feel like in Austin, there's been a little bit of that where people will move to the music part of town and they'll build condos and then they complain about the noise and get the clubs shut down. That happens all the time.
That's my negative favorite. Like, what did you expect to happen? Like, where were we going with this? Yeah.
It's baffling. You move there. The reason it's cool is because you have these clubs and these bars there, and then you move in and start complaining. So that can happen. But like in Austin, I just feel like a lot of the people that come in, they come for the music and appreciate it and adapt pretty quickly to say, okay, this is really important and this is a lifestyle, and now you've just got more people that can come out to your shows. This is what I've noticed. It's like
that's nice. Crowd, full rooms and opportunity are a big thing, and especially kind of where at in your career, you are road worn, you are respected. You do have some things where people that maybe they haven't known you that long, but they're like, oh, okay, that sounds familiar, or at least you're relatable to that. So I'm excited for you, and if you all want to support Hayes, we're gonna get a T-shirt to somebody. So drop us your favorite Hayes Carll song in the comments, and we'll buy you guys a T-shirt. We'll pick one. We've also got a Jack Daniels giveaway to do. Just drop us the first album you purchased. Hayes, what was the first album that was yours? That was your first album, not a siblings, not dad, mom. What was your first album? Do you remember? And I need you to be real honest. Please be honest. If it was Tiffany, we can talk about it.
I'll be honest. Okay, but I need to qualify this. The first record I had was Kenny Rogers' Greatest Hits, and that was really important to me. But it was, and I'm no shame in that. It was really influential on me and great songs. But I didn't buy it. I was 8 years old. My parents had it laying around, and I got it. But I lived with that record. The first record I got on my own was through the Columbia.
Yeah.
And the penny, you get 8 records or whatever. So, and I did that when I was pretty young too, because it was a penny. My budget, it fit my budget. I didn't worry about the part where they charged you afterwards.
But then they call your parents and they're like, "We need to speak to this." And they're like, "He's in 4th grade. He's in elementary school right now." Yeah.
But it seemed amazing at the time. You mean I just fill this out and all these tapes will show up, and sure enough, that's exactly how it worked. So that I remember. I had the Stand By Me soundtrack. I had a Chuck Berry Greatest Hits tape. I had a Monkees tape. I was really into Monkees. So it was all that era, kind of like 50s, 60s.
Do you take the selfie with the Chuck Berry statue when you come here to St. Louis? Do you ever make it over that way? I don't know if you ever played over that in the loop.
Oh, yeah, it was a Blueberry Hill or.
That's probably where you played. Yeah, or the pageant.
Yeah, that was his club, right?
Yeah. He was definitely part of that. So
there's a great story. I'll finish your question, answering your question. But Todd Snyder was playing at Blueberry Hill once, and he's a huge Chuck Berry fan. And he's in the dressing room, and Chuck Berry comes in, and he comes straight up to Todd, and he says, "Are you Todd Snyder?" And Todd's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Oh my God, my hero knows who I am." And he comes up, and he knows me. He's talking to me, and Todd says, "Yes." And he goes, "You're in my parking spot." Because he had gotten to the club, and there's a car in Chuck Berry's lifetime parking spot. He asked who it is, and he's like, "Well, Todd Snyder." So that's how he knew his name. So he comes in. And anyway,
if not, that should have been a gag that the staff should have played every single time. That's a great story.
You just gotta get Chuck in on it. The first things I bought, though, I remember I saved up and bought a stereo, and I bought several CDs. The two that I remember were the Black Crowes, the first Black Crowes record, and a Yo MTV Raps collection. So there you go. I put that out there.
I like that. I think that is good enough that it's cred worthy, but it's not ridiculous. It's not what it wasn't like. I only had the Replacements, and that's all I was into. Like this was that was a great answer, man. So, and if you all want to again participate in this, drop your first album that you got in the comments. We'll pick a winner for our Jack Daniels giveaway, and drop us your favorite Hayes Carll song in the comments. We'll be sure to hook you up with a Hayes Carll T-shirt from the merch store. Hayes, you're crushing it on. Is it every Tuesday night? You've got so many people tuning in, man. That has to feel so great.
It does. I mean, more than anything, it's sort of been my lifeline during this time. To be stuck at the house. I've been touring for 20 years, and so to not be on the road is strange. It's nice, but it's strange. But to be able to log on every night or every Tuesday, play this show, and know there's people out there watching it, and we read the comments and just see how much they appreciate it, and to it's my favorite night of the week. I've never had so much fun playing music, or at least not in a long time. And so it's one of the cool things that's come out of this for me is just getting to do that and really kind of turn it into a thing for myself, which I think I'll carry on even when things go back to where we can go out on the road. It's something I'd like to keep doing. It's just been really special for me.
I think you should, and I think we'll see a lot of that as people are aware that world-class entertainment's a click away at times. So it's great to see people like you doing that. I've talked a lot. I bet there's a lot of people in the comments that are here to see you play some tunes. So Hayes is going to play 4 songs for us. Take some time, check out all Hayes' social media, give him a follow, check out all the merch stores. This guy is busting his hump, and he's out there performing for you, and we'll hear 4 songs tonight. Hayes, what's our first song we're going to hear, man? I'm excited.
I'm going to do one that I wrote with one of my heroes, wonderful songwriter and human being named Ray Wiley Hubbard. And this is one we wrote many years ago, and I just re-recorded and as a duet with him. So it's fresh on my mind. It's called Drunken Poet's Dream.
Thanks, Hayes.
All right, let me tuck this away there. Well, I got a woman, she's wild as Rome. She likes to lie naked and be kissed upon. She crosses the bridge and sets it on fire. And it lands like a bird on a telephone wire. Wine bottles scattered like last night's clothes. Cigarettes, papers, and dominoes. She laughs for a minute about the shape I'm in. She says, you be the sinner, honey, I be the sin. I'm gonna holler, I'm gonna scream, I'm gonna give me some mescaline. She brings me roses and a place to meet me. A drunken poet's dream. Well, I believe my harp has got a busted reed. Yeah, my lips are chapped and about to bleed. She tastes like pills and cheap cologne, and tells me I don't ever have to drink alone. Yeah, there's some money on the table and a pistol on the floor. A few paperback books of Louis L'Amour. She says, honey, don't you worry about Judgment Day. 'Cause dying to get to heaven, it just ain't our way. I'm gonna holler, I'm gonna scream, I'm gonna give me some mescaline. She brings some roses and a place to lean. A drunken poet's dream. And all my life I laid around while the colors all turned blue. Yeah, I close my eyes and I finally found it brought me back to you, blue. I got a woman, she's wild as wrong. Yeah, she likes to lie naked and be kissed upon. She crosses the bridge and sets it on fire. And it lands like a bird on a telephone wire. I'm gonna holler, I'm gonna scream, I'm gonna give me some mescaline. She brings me roses and a place to lean. A drunken poet's dream.
I was gonna fill in, but I felt like I wouldn't do the song much justice. Hayes, wonderful start to the 4-song set. Thank you so much. And I'm such a weirdo. Immediately, I think like this is obviously like a seminal thing that's happened in your life. You get to make this song with a hero, a guy who's a legend in the Americana game or country or whatever we want to say. Have you had the opposite happen, where the "don't meet your heroes" is enforced? Have you had that happen? Have you met someone that you idolized that you weren't so pumped to be around? You don't have to drop names. You should, and I will clip it off and tweet it out. But
I'll tell you one, and this doesn't matter because I'll never see him again. And it wasn't that bad of an experience at all, but it was just funny. I was in England. I was in London, and I was playing the Jules Holland show, which was this huge music television show. They bring on like four or five guests a night. And like then the week before, it had been Metallica and Paul McCartney and I can't remember, but it's like that level. And the night that I was on was who am I trying to think of? There was Jeff Beck, Katy Perry, and then from Pink Floyd, not Roger Waters. I'm blanking out. I'm going to have to look it up here. This isn't a very good story where I have to look up the guy.
Well, anyway, the host is blanking too, so there you go.
Okay.
Are you talking about David Gilmour?
Yes, thank you.
Producer Matt saves the day. Thank you, Matt.
Well done. Boy, I mean, y'all knew the Canadian "Life is a Highway." You can't get David Gilmour.
Yeah, what's going on, man? We're blowing it.
And so I'm standing. I'm trying to find the bathroom, and I'm just walking around. I don't know what's going on, and I start going there, and this guy goes, "Don't cut in the queue, mate." And I don't even know what that means.
Right.
And then I look up, and it's David Gilmour, and he's in line for the bathroom, and I've cut in front of him, and that was the extent of it. That's the whole
That's
story.
pretty
But,
good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I've met a couple, but most of the people. I mean, I've been really fortunate to meet a lot of my heroes: John Prine and Levon Helm, and Robert Plant, and like there's a lot of folks, and they've been amazing. It's blown me away, like how cool most of them are, and
That's reassuring, and it makes you. That's a very positive reinforcement, but then it also it helps you weed out the fakes too, right? The people that have that weird attitude that are nowhere near your hero's level, and it's like, oh, you're not gonna make it. You don't get to treat people negative. So I'm glad that you've had that experience. That's a very positive thing to hear. And shout out to your management team that got you booked with Katy Perry and everybody. No, I mean, that's a big lineup, man.
Funny story about her, and this was years ago, and just the Jules just liked one of the songs I did, and but afterwards I'm talking to Katy, and she only had one song. She had whatever
Kissed
that
a
first
Girl.
thing. Yes.
I mean, one of those. Who knows?
Right. Yeah, I think
That was
might
a
have been
test
the
to
song
see
she
if
did.
you would agree. Yeah. Well, you failed. Sorry.
But we had no idea she was going to be a megastar. It was just she had this one hit, and I knew she was from Texas. So I went over and I was just talking to her, which I'd be way nervous probably to do that now as an old man, but this is a long time ago, and so I'm talking to her, and she's obviously distracted and not into it. She's like looking over my shoulder, and then she goes, "Is that Jeff Beck?" And then just walks off like mid sentence. I'm talking to her. I'm like, "So yeah, I'm from Texas." She's like, "Is that Jeff Beck?" And just like
Out of
beelines.
it.
Yeah, gone.
I had a comic that I thought we were kind of buddies do that. So I host a show. We have a lot of comedians on, and I was even part of the same network. And we're at the All Things Comedy Festival in Phoenix. I feel like I'm like part of the team. And this like mid-level headliner guy, he was like kind of knew me, chatted for 2 seconds, and just goes, and walked, veered away. I was like, dang, man. That's a quick way to remember. Like, all right, stay down.
Yeah. I'll tell one last one like that. But there's an iconic dance hall in Texas called Green Hall.
Of course.
It's about a 700 seat. Just there's no windows, just screens and some ceiling fans, and it's just this great iconic dance hall. And I was doing 2 shows there. It sold out both shows, and which is a huge deal for me. And there's no green room, though, ironically, at Green Hall. And so I'm sitting out in the parking lot in my car waiting to go in, and the place is packed, and there's like a cop when I get there that's going to lead me in. It's very big time, which was way more than I was used to. And as I'm walking up to the venue, just feeling really full of myself, there's a couple who's really excited. They see me, and they get really excited. And they're like, oh. And they've got their camera out or their phone or whatever. And they're like, would you? And I'm walking quick and feeling really important. I'm like, okay, I stop.
Yeah.
And they're thinking I'm going to get a selfie, and they hand me their camera. And then it hit me. They had no idea who I am. They just needed somebody to take a picture of them in front of Green Hall. And they didn't know I was walking into my sold out show. And so anyway, I went from like here to here really quickly. And so that's a good reminder.
Those are the
too big for your britches.
Those are the best reminders, and it's and even today with short attention spans, and I'm sure you're huge on TikTok. Wait, I'm sure it's so funny to me how quickly you see it on Twitter the most, where people will be like, "Who's Nelly?" Like it'll be like, "What? What did you say?" Like it's crazy how quick that happens. But I think we all need
St.
that.
Louis reference there,
Right? Yeah, you got to work it in, man. Again, if you're tuned in, this is Drinks with the Band. We do this each and every week. We're so pleased to have Hayes Carll on this week. Next week, we'll have our friend Womack from Future Birds on. We've got a great lineup through September, rocking and rolling. Thanks to our friends at Jack Daniels, Kranzberg Arts Foundation, and all of our wonderful supporters. Hayes, I love talking to you, but we got to hear another song, man. What's the next one?
I'll do one off a record from a while back. This one's about a town in southeast Texas called Beaumont.
Beautiful. Let's hear it.
Inspired by it. It's called Beaumont. Oh, the night was... sorry. I saw you leaning on a memory with your back turned to the crowd in that little bar on Murphy where they play guitar too loud. There were people drinking whiskey and there were hearts about to leave. It was cold as hell for Houston. It was almost New Year's Eve. All the way from Beaumont with a white rose in my hand. I could not wait forever, babe. I hope you'll understand. Oh, the night was feeling lucky, so I asked you to dance. And the way you looked up at me made me think I had a chance. But when I put my arms around you, I knew you weren't giving in. And I hope it will be different if I pass this way again. All the way from Beaumont with a white rose in my hand. I could not wait forever, babe. I hope you'll understand. Well, I walked the road to get here with a guitar in a case, and I'd have stopped in Pasadena if I'd have known about this place. But you looked like forever where the water meets the shore. I've been thinking about you, baby. I can't do that anymore. I saw you leaning on a memory with your back turned to the crowd in that little bar on Murphy where they play guitar too loud. There were people drinking whiskey and there were hearts about to leave. It was cold as hell for Houston. It was almost New Year's Eve. All the way from Beaumont with a white rose in my hand. I could not wait forever, babe. I hope you'll understand. Yeah, all the way from Beaumont with a white rose in my hand. I could not wait forever, babe. I hope you'll understand.
Again, sweating, just enjoying myself so much. That was great. Cheers to you, Hayes. That's such a great song. People are letting us know in the comments, so you got to appreciate that. I'm thinking of this too. I just wanted to give a quick shout out just because of everything that's been going on. Our friend John Henry, he's a musician here in St. Louis, Missouri, also books a great venue off Broadway. Was going to bring you up to St. Louis for Open Highway Music Festival. I'm sure something will get redone on that. I did see that they announced that wasn't happening, or for now, everything's so up in the air. But I did just want to say, great job throughout the years you've played off Broadway, right?
I played there a bunch of times. I played the pageant once years ago. Had a really great, one of the most fun nights of my life, actually, after the show. There's a bowling alley right there in there. Is that still there?
Yeah, Pinup, or is it Pinup Bowl? I believe so.
Yeah.
Pinup Bowl. It's the Loop in St. Louis, and it's a cool area for sure. You got after it. Who were you on the bill with at the pageant?
The old 97s. I was on tour with them.
2012, maybe 13.
7.
2007. Okay,
7, yeah.
I've seen them a few times.
Like that.
Yeah.
And there's some other rooms I played. I used to play, was it Blueberry Hill or the Duck Room, St. Louis has been good to me. And but I love off Broadway, and we've been there probably half dozen times, and it's a fun spot.
It certainly is, man. I've seen some of my favorite shows there as well. I'm trying to think of, you know the band Lucero. I'm sure
Oh yeah,
they'll do
I went to
those.
college with Ben. He went to Hendrix.
He did. The
Yeah.
Arkansas Cadet, like every decent person from Arkansas was like, oh yeah, we skateboarded together. Yeah, we were friends. Yeah,
We didn't really know each other, oddly, because it's such a small school and we both played music. But he was 2 years ahead of me, and uh, we didn't know each other, but we've got some connections. And I did a show with him once in Lubbock, a Valentine's Day show, and there was a fist fight in the first song. It was epic. And afterwards, I took a photo of the dance floor, or of it wasn't a dance floor. It was just the venue afterwards, and it was a mountain of cans and bottles. I'd never seen anything like it.
I'm glad to hear.
On Valentine's Day, bam, just guy gets laid out front row. It's like, all right, it's on.
Okay, it's that kind of night, huh? I'm glad to hear that. That's not like that's how their shows look in St. Louis too. So good on Lucero and good on you for putting on a Valentine's show.
I think they're pretty consistent with that. I mean, I have a fair amount of that, but I think there are several levels above me.
Well, I think you do a good job with it. I also think it's funny too that the two of you went to college together, and then how in the world his brother might go down as the greatest American director. Like that guy, his brother, Ben's brother. I'm trying to think. Jeff Nichols. Jeff Nichols. Right. He made the movie Mud. McConaughey was in that. Loving. Take Shelter. That guy.
Or the kid's an alien, or has the special superpowers. The kid.
Yeah,
My
man.
son auditioned for that movie.
Is that right?
Yeah. Well, in Austin, they have a third brother who's an attorney who was in my intramural basketball. Not intramural. It was just a rec basketball league that I was in, with Bruce Robeson, who's another songwriter who's like 6'5", and then I can't remember the guy's name, but he's the third brother of the third Nichols brother, and he's an attorney in Austin. And so. I
need to get whatever's going on with their family. They're doing it right, so
yeah,
I'm proud of them. I'm curious too. Does having a rowdy crowd ever backfire, or does it get old? Like, do you ever ever hold up the hand and go, "It is my first song. Can we please not do a shot together?" Does that happen?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what I guess I sing about drinking a lot.
Sure.
And I like to cut loose, and I used to drink a lot. I still drink some, but I used to drink a lot. And just kind of would set a mood. I think the energy that I brought musically and with the band, and I was just pounding shots on stage, and people would hand stuff up, and so it creates a certain environment, which I enjoyed for a while. But it became limiting, and that's when it was a problem. Was, okay, this is fun, I can do this, I can get all these people going, but now I want to play a song that means something to me over here. I want to strip it down. I want to be able to talk. That's a big part of my show, is just kind of telling stories and communicating with people. And then it's a problem when there's people who won't allow that, and that pisses me off and is not part of the sort of experience it's not what I want the experience to be. I want to be able to connect with people by doing more than just getting hammered. And I've tried different ways to tone that down and to have a balance. I want people to have a good time. I go to shows and want to have a good time, and so there's nights where you just want to tear it up. But I've tried to cultivate things throughout my career where I can do both, where I can go out solo with a guitar and do that, or I can get my band together and we can raise hell but ideally do a mix of both, and because I like the full range. I like funny songs, I like sad songs, I like tearing it up, with a rock song and playing a ballad, and that's what's fun for me, is getting to do all that stuff. So when people won't allow me to do what I want to do, then it's an issue.
It is too, and to kind of throw that wrench in the creative process is a weird thing, but I think people tuning in tonight to Drinks with the Band and hearing that from you, that's how much work goes into a creative performance. There's a spectrum to it. There's thought process that goes into it, and then not only is it your job, it's something that's probably it's the most important thing in your life to you. It's huge. So that's I appreciate you sharing that, man.
And this is, you said you do the comedy, and there's a connection with an audience I mean, my favorite feeling in the world is when I feel that connection, when I know that I'm locked in with them and they're locked in with me. And during those times, sometimes it just takes one person that can ruin it. It's not, if it's a crowd of rowdy people, that's fine. But it's when I've got like 99 people who are there with me and I've got one guy who's louder than I am, then it's a problem because he's ruining it for everybody and he ruins it for me because I can't, it breaks that spell.
Right.
And so that's the thing. It's, we can get the band together and get loud, but if it's a certain type of room, a certain type of thing, it's like, just be respectful of the experience everybody's having, and don't make it about you as an audience member. That's all I ask. Is that so much?
You know what? It's not, and people need to listen to that. And you know what? We're responsibly having cocktails tonight. So cheers to you, Hayes, and cheers to everybody in the comments. We got 2 songs left. What are you blessing us with, man? What's the third?
I tell you what, I'm going to do one off my last record. It's one I wrote for my wife. She's from South Alabama, and she's got a language all of her own, and I have a hard time keeping up sometimes. So this is about that. It's called Nunya. I'm going to take my headphones off to play it. So
thanks, man.
I asked you where you've been, and you said none. None of your business, don't you ask no more. You said if you would do a better job of listening, then maybe you would understand why I'm at the door. You just had to paint the front porch ceiling turquoise. You said that's the way we do it in the South. You claim it keeps out all the evil spirits. Sometimes I can't believe the words coming out your mouth, but I try because I want to. I know your heart the best way that I can. Through the laughter and the pain and the sometimes just insane. Girl, all I wanna do is be your man. Sometimes we'll pretend like we're strangers at that meeting up for the first time. Well, I'll be a doctor or a secret agent, just hoping that you'll laugh with me as I pull out my lines. And I used to tell myself that I had it covered, that everything was where it needs to be. But then you showed up and you looked me over, and I see, oh, I see, now I see, darling, I see. And so I try because I need to. I know your heart the best way that I can. For the laughter, for the pain, for the way you call my name. Girl, all I wanna do is be your man. I asked you where you've been and you said none yet. None of your business, don't you ask no more.
Hayes Carll, Nunya, wonderful song. That's whenever a singer-songwriter dedicates a song to a loved one, like there has to be that minute of like, hope this doesn't suck. Like, so for you to write a song that great for your significant other, man, cheers to that. What a great song. We do have a surprise for you. Producer Matt has unearthed footage of Hayes at the pageant back in the day, right here in St. Louis. Look at that.
Wow. God, that reminds me. That's beautiful. That reminds me. The review the next day said our band looked like the Allman Brothers or Leonard Skinner or something like that, and we were definitely letting our hair go.
That's great. I'm rocking some quarantine hair myself. I just noticed today I had a short sleeve collared shirt on, and my mullet keeps. I said I was going to hurt my neck from pushing my head forward because my mullet keeps grabbing the back of my collared shirt. So I'm trying to catch him.
I think that people who cut hair are essential workers. I didn't at first, but like 3 months in, I was like, these people are essential.
This is
especially
pretty.
Especially when you can be seen publicly, like.
Right.
It's like I almost stopped doing the show. I was like, this is getting really bad.
You get a ton of people tuning in on your Tuesday show, but I think it'd be double if you had a nice cropped up do, man. I'm going to be honest.
Well, I mean, this is a cut. What are you saying? I got this cut last month.
Oh, it's great, dude. No, it's fine.
No, my tips were way better when the hair was long. People were like, he's really struggling over there.
It's doing a number on Hayes. Hayes, you've been so gracious with your time tonight. And again, people, go to the Facebook page, support Hayes whenever live shows start back up. We are going to give away a T-shirt from the merch store. So let us know your favorite Hayes Carll song. We'll pick a random winner. And then for the Jack Daniels giveaway, let us know your first album you got. Just comment. And if you haven't hit share yet, go ahead. We got one more song from Hayes Carll to close it out. We'll chat right after this, man. Take it away, buddy.
All right. Thanks, man. I'm going to do a song here that I wrote a while back, but it feels relevant for the time we're living in. It's called Times Like These. In times like these, everyone could use a hand. Instead of standing around losing ground, fighting over the promised land. And it's so hard to tell if this is heaven or hell, and I can never measure by degrees. But it's sure getting warm around here in times like these. In times like these, do I really need a billionaire? Just taking on my time, trying to tell me how I treat them unfair. Oh, then I have to pay as the home of the brave gets divided into them and the we. Oh, I find I'm losing my mind in times like these. Yeah, they come and they go. They here and not. Every day I'm getting better at losing something I haven't got. I just wanna do my labor, love my girl and help my neighbor while I keep a little hope on my dreams. But it's sure getting hard, it's harder in times like these. I had a place to hide. Instead of bringing it together, we're just widening the great divide. I hope and I pray at the end of the day that I can somehow get my troubles to ease. But I gotta say it's not looking good, not in times like these. Let it come and it go. They're cold and they're hot. I'm just trying to keep the world from turning me to something I'm not. And I'm gonna try to run till the whole thing's done, and I just hope I don't end up on my knees. But it's sure getting hard to stand up in times like these. I just wanna do my labor, love my girl and help my neighbor while I'm keeping almost raw to be. But it's sure getting hard, brother, in times like these. I could use just a little bit of help in times like these.
Hayes Carll closing it out on Drinks with the Band. What a tune. Way to go, man. What a great time hanging out with you. I can't say enough nice things, and I'd be a jerk to not shout out our friend Katie Tupin for recommending you and sending you our way. So shout out to Katie.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah.
I just met her recently. She's great.
She is. She's great. She's a talented musician herself. But, man, Hayes, what an appearance tonight, man. And I'm excited to get somebody something from your merch store. Guys, there's still some time. And then you can also win a Jack Daniels prize pack. I did want to share, what was your first album you got, Matt, the producer? What do we have? This should be good.
I had TLC's Crazy Sexy Cool.
Real quick, you can't see Matt. It fits the Midwestern or Southern vibe. I go 6'3", 250 plus. Matt's 6'2", 250 plus.
Yeah.
TLC, first album.
Yeah.
Huh? You wouldn't expect that
That
from
and Spin Doctors.
Okay, that's very timely. Nice. Before you go, I did want to share, I was helping a friend work a show at kind of a dodgy rock club here in St. Louis when I was like 20. And I'll throw him under the bus. I don't care. Dave Mustaine smoked me with and have you met Dave Mustaine's like a little guy, Megadeth, Dave Mustaine.
Yeah.
I was standing there and it helped out with something. He hit me with his 2-prong guitar because apparently I was too close standing by, and I like looked down and I wasn't starstruck by the guy. I'm like, I don't give it. Like, okay, you were on Beavis and Butthead when I was a kid, like cool. But that was I forgot about that, and I was like, you know what, you shared. I feel like I should share as well. And Dave Mustaine smoked me with a guitar when I was like 20. So that's something that somebody would appreciate.
That could hurt.
It could, but it worked out. It gave me I feel like the pain for the story was worth it. It's a good trade-off.
For sure. Yeah,
Absolutely. Hayes, real quick, I know, again, touring's kind of weird right now. You do have the Tuesday night shows. How can people follow you? What do you want people to do to kind of stay in touch with you?
Yeah, just the usual things. I've got the socials. I've got a show every Tuesday night called Alone Together Tuesdays, which my tour that I was on was called the Alone Together Tour when this all went down. And so I just carried it over. It felt more appropriate during a quarantine than even when it did when I was out on the road with it. So Alone Together Tuesdays with Hayes Carll. And we're on all the Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, farmers.com. I don't know. We're on all the spots that you
Christian Mingle, he's huge there.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's it. And trying to get by, write some songs. I've got a record that'll come out in September that I made here in my little space. I learned how to make a record during this time, and
that's super
so I'm
exciting.
excited about that.
Yeah, there's going to be some weird stuff come out of this time, right? Artistically, right? Like, because people have been forced to do this, and even people like you with great studio albums, you're essentially stuck in your home. So what are you going to do? Beavers build dams anywhere, right? You're a creator. So I'm excited to hear that, man.
Thanks, man. It's been fun to learn some new skills and just go in some different creative directions. So that's it. Just trying to get by, bring a little joy to the world, hopefully, and stay sane. But,
well, you certainly did tonight, man. Cheers again to everybody for tuning in. Support Hayes. Follow him on all social media. Cheers, everybody. We will pick the winners. The Hayes Carll giveaway, the Jack Daniels giveaway. We do this every week, 8 o'clock Central, right here at We Are Live Radio. Follow us on Facebook, Media Outlaws TV on the YouTube. Hayes, wonderful work. We're back next week with Womack from Future Birds. Be sure to tune in for that, guys. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Take care. Thanks.